It's April 3rd, 2019. You've got Goose. You've got Coach. Now let's talk Zelle. Let's get into the core. Goose, what's up, man?
Hey, Coach. How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going
good news.
What you got?
Zelle, right? Lots of really great things happening. They're going to be working on unifying the brand.
Okay.
Because you know how we got a whole bunch of different websites for different things, right?
Yeah. Zelle Cash, Zelle Core, Zelle ID, etc.
Exactly. All those different sites. Well, right now you can go to Zelle Technologies. Then from there we can connect to all of the different offerings of Zelle. So,
well, that'd definitely be nice to have everything kind of under one roof.
Yeah.
You don't have to search around for other things, man. Well, I got some news for you. What about 1.42?
Oh, Zelle Core.
Think about
yes.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I'm loving it, man. Did you start playing around with that drag and drop feature?
Oh man, that's been huge. I would hide my assets and then add them in the order that I wanted them in. That's what I had to do in the past because I'm very anal like that in terms of how I want to look at things. And
okay,
man, that honestly makes life so much easier. So that's been a great addition, man. Probably my favorite out of the group.
I mean, because let's face it, right? All of us in crypto, we love to look at our assets, and right. I think to a certain degree, some of us have a little bit. I know I do. I'll speak for myself. All right, I'm not going to speak for everybody. I'll speak for myself and say I got a little bit of OCD. I like things in a certain order. I like things alphabetical, or like certain colors together and all that stuff. So like, what you used to have to do was hide each individual asset and then add them back in the order that you wanted, and it was like very long and time consuming and all of that. And this is just one of those teeny tiny little creature comforts that make Zelle so great, because like just being able to rearrange your assets in the order that you want is just like breath of fresh air,
yeah. I mean, you take ownership of your wallet, man. That's always exciting when you kind of open it up and feel good about what you see.
Zelle Core is all about customization as well as innovation. So Zelle Core is like one of the only wallets out there that you can change the background. So if you want to personalize it and stuff, and then this is just one added layer of personalization. You can kind of put things the way you want. So really liking that.
Yeah, and the addition of a ton of tokens, a couple new coins, man. It's really big update, man. I was excited to see that, and the community winner of the vote that we had on Twitter is also a part of that addition. So Bitcoin Z,
they did a lot of hard work behind the scenes, both our team and their team, and it's really great to welcome them to the community.
Yeah, very excited, man. That community vote was very, very popular. So it was a ton of good teams that kind of brought their way in there. Bitcoin Zero found a way on top. So hopefully we do one of those again at some point in time, and we can find some more entry points for some new teams, man.
I'd love to see that. I think it's a great way to give back to the community and also to welcome newcomers to Zelle Core.
Yeah, and what's been exciting to me really is over the course of the last few months where you've been in a red market. It's been very bearish, and I mean, Zelle Core just continues to get better. The team is hard at work, and we just didn't slow down, man. That's exciting. So, like you said, just with the bug fixes, the new updates, new features, Zelle Premium coming down the pipeline. I mean, it's a ton of exciting news right now and moving forward.
Well, hey, we just covered Zelle Core Premium on the Zelle YouTube channel, so I'll go ahead and drop a little plug for that. If you want to see Zelle Core Premium in action, I did a video on how it looks and the integration of the new exchanges that are there. We've got Binance, Bittrex, and Kraken, which are being fully integrated into Zelle Core using the API so that you can link your account from either Binance, Kraken, or Bittrex directly into Zelle Core and control all of the trading and everything right there from within the wallets.
I don't know how many times I've been lined up with my cell phone in one hand and my laptop in the other, or I got Zelcore. I'm clicking in and out of Zelcore back to my exchange to copy and paste my wallet. Just all those little things. It's just going to eliminate all that, man, and make it like a one-stop shop. It's a one-stop place, and you can get all your business done. See your assets, trade your assets, be in your favorite exchange. Very exciting, man. I enjoyed the video. Thanks for knocking that out for us.
Absolutely. That's why I signed up to do. And what I like best about it is the fact that, I know I've sat there myself with the cell phone in one hand and on the computer, and always what ends up happening to me is the computer logs me out. Like right before I'm ready to, you know what I mean? Like I'm ready to make the trade, finally it's time. And I was waiting for the certain number of confirmations, and then, all of a sudden the website timed out, or I was automatically logged out, and it was due to inactivity and all this jazz. Well, you get the Zelcore wallet spun up, connected with your API, and you're there, ready, live, right? Because it's just already ready.
Yeah. So this is, I don't think until I have it in my hands, I don't know how excited I'm truly going to be. But just watching you roll through that video was already groundbreaking. I can't wait to get to that point to where it's live and in my hands, man.
I don't know of many other wallets that have that capability. There are a handful of other projects out there that are doing something like that. But to the extent that they're going to have access to exchanges as massive as Binance and Bittrex, just think of the catalog of coins and tokens that are available on each of those exchanges. They're just massive. Right. So that's all available to you right away. So boy, am I excited about where we're headed with premium. And yes, premium does come with a fee. They've got it at $9.99 per month, but that's just the beginning of what you get with premium. They're going to have so many other features added to that. Not only that, if you want to get it at a discount, 25% off if you spend Zelk to do it. So it's kind of a no-brainer for anybody who mines the coin, because at that point, you mine enough coins, you just pay for your premium membership out of the mining fee, right? Like right out of whatever you get for your mining. Or if you're running a node and you're getting some rewards from your node, you could just kind of filter those node payments like right into your Zelle Premium and get the added features. Some of the other things we're going to talk about: news, right? News aggregator, so that you've got the latest crypto news coming right to your mobile device or right to your Zelcore wallet. A couple other things too, like portfolio management. So you can take a look at all different types of numbers and metrics about your entire portfolio. It's not just what you have in your wallet. It's also what you have on either Binance or Bittrex or Kraken linked through the API. And if you want, in the very near future, they're going to make it so you can link to your offline storage. And go through block explorers and whatnot to get the balances and put that into. So you're going to have access to your entire crypto portfolio: hot storage, desktop storage, which I'll kind of call, I don't know, that's like mid-grade storage, right? And then cold storage, those paper wallets or ledgers and stuff like that. You're going to have all of that connected right to your profile or your portfolio tracker inside of Zelcore.
It's going to get to the point where there will be to really ever get outside of Zelcore.
Why would you need to, right? If it makes it so that everything is right there, why go anywhere else? Everything is fast and speedy and total.
Absolutely, man.
Speaking of fast and speedy, have you seen the price of Bitcoin lately?
Well, I certainly have, man, and it's hard to miss with everybody buzzing about it again. So it's been exciting, kind of seeing it fly up. You got any speculation on what's causing the rise?
Well, no, actually, I don't. That's the funny thing, because it wasn't like some kind of special news broke about Bitcoin, or there was some new bill passed in Congress that said, oh, now you can use Bitcoin to pay your taxes. Like only certain states have done that. Of course, I have to bring up taxes because it's what, April 3rd. So all you miserable Americans who have to pay your taxes, April 15th is the deadline.
Uncle Sam is waiting.
Oh, I know. I dread it, man.
I mean, yeah. In terms of the price skyrocketing, like you said, there's, it kind of shot up there on April Fool's Day, and I was thinking it was a joke when my alerts were going off, but it wasn't, man, and obviously kind of trickled down to some of the altcoins, and Zelda's no different. Zelda is it's definitely in the green, and so a lot of other coins. So interesting to see. I mean, we all have. Well, most people have kind of been in this thing for a while, and it has its ebbs and flows. So be curious of kind of where this thing goes, if it picks up enough steam to kind of have a 2017 type feel to it.
Well, 2017 is really interesting because it started to go up. Like, really, if you look at the charts, you've got like August of 2017 with this very slow, steady increase. October, it's already like double what it was in August. And then November continues that steep rise. By mid-December, it was through the roof. I don't think we're going to see that kind of run. It's interesting. If you look at the charts, and I'm no analyst by any stretch, but a lot of people have said that it's got a little bit of the Bart Simpson possibility, where it shoots up, goes sideways for a little bit, and then drops. But the funny thing is just recently, while it seemed to try and test 5,300, it dropped back down just below 5,000, and now it's trickling back up. So we don't have like a real Bart Simpson kind of situation just yet, right? It's a very strange, peculiar looking chart right now. So I don't know.
Right. Well, the interesting thing I will say is, people around here locally that know I'm kind of into crypto, where all of a sudden knocking on my door at the office, and, hey, how do I buy Bitcoin again? So it does have a little bit of that that feel where people are back interested again. So it doesn't take much for it to hit the news, and people all of a sudden are back interested in it. So like you said, it'd be curious to see how it plays out.
Absolutely. In somewhat related news, I don't know what the whole story is with Veriblock. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I have heard of Veriblock.
So they're apparently like a way to speed up your Bitcoin verification.
Right.
So there's several different companies that are doing this right now, and they work. They're not cheap, but they work, and people like the idea. I suppose I wish I knew more about how it worked, if it was like a side chain that somehow, or maybe it's just like pulling all of your resources together so that you could increase the payout in terms of the mining fee, because that's really the issue. If people pay low amounts of Bitcoin for the trade to go through, and miners are not willing to accept a low price like that, it'll just sit in the mempool forever.
Oh, I've had plenty of those transactions.
Right? I mean, you try and save a few pennies just by not paying the highest amount, but then you end up waiting forever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've waited close to 24 hours before, just because honestly, one of the exchanges I was working with would always send it out with low fees, and it would drive me crazy. It was a shame on me for moving Bitcoin out of an exchange, but so obviously you see a need for or a want for that ability to speed up those transactions if possible, So I definitely understand the role behind it. And interesting enough, I actually tried to spec mine Veriblock, and it was the toughest thing I've ever dealt with, if you don't know anything about it. So I kind of hate I'm saying that, I'm in that right now, but it was tough for me to figure out. So I did a little bit of pop mining, I guess is what it was called, and it's kind of an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I kind of come from that mining setup background and whatnot, and I can't tell you how many hours I would have spent trying to figure out how to do different coins and whatnot. And that can be one of the most frustrating things. You try so many different types of miners, I mean, and this is the reality of it, right? Like when you're doing that, you're putting your computer and your miners at risk because, I mean, maybe it's not a terrible risk because you always reinstall Windows, but there could be so much software out there with malware and bloatware and anything else that you can imagine.
Right.
So you got to be careful what you download, especially if it's a PC. Like most of the time when I was doing videos, it was my own PC. Like I just had to be very careful about what am I downloading here, you know?
Exactly. That's kind of, I was very, very wary of all the miners I was trying out and all that kind of stuff. And even with that, you know, when you're trying some of that stuff out, you know, you're investing money into it, you know, because you're throwing your electricity at a coin that you don't know if it's going to have a future or not. But you know, I was interested in it, and it's kind of crazy seeing it all come to fruition there with that 10-second buyout where it's sold out IEO thing that came out here on yesterday. So
apparently not even 10 seconds. Apparently that was like not the actual timing. The actual timing was more closer to like 2 or 3 seconds.
Wow, are you kidding?
Yeah, there's a big controversy over it because people are saying, well, was it actually human beings who were signed in and just ready to go and pull the trigger, or was it bots? Because they didn't put any type of bot protection into the trading mechanism. They just kind of left it wide open. So it's very possible that bots got in on that, and that was the end of it. It went very, very quickly.
Yeah,
even 10 seconds is too fast if you ask me, though.
Crazy, but 2 seconds it's insane. Is unbelievable.
Yeah, if it's really crazy. 2, I mean, there's no human being. Maybe there was one person that was able to push the button at the right time, you know?
Right, exactly.
Like that's it. Exactly. So I find that to be very suspect, because you gotta wonder, how come those checks weren't put in there? I know there's a lot of things that are overlooked because crypto moves so fast, and people just want to do it now, get it over with, and that can be so short-sighted. There has to be a better way for the future. So I hope that they continue to experiment and find better solutions that are more fair. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely something that needs to get looked at and corrected.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fairness, getting back to Zell, the mining algorithm that we're using right now is our own variation of Equihash. And this month, really, we're in the testing phase and the final stages of putting together all of the last tweaks that we want to the Zell Equihash variant. We're creating a whole new, heavily modified Equihash variant just so that we can keep mining fair for all of our Zell miners.
And you're kind of referring to maybe some of those nice hash attacks or, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, that's a reality for many cryptocurrencies, right? You know, so we're not immune to that, and we're not alone. So what we're talking about now is, how do we preserve the base that has supported us and Zell for so long? And one of the best ways to do that is still with the Equihash algorithm, but making some very, very serious adjustments to it so that it rules out the possibility of ASICs or FPGAs, which I don't know that there's many FPGAs yet on the Equihash algorithm.
But it's a matter of time, right?
It's just a matter of time. And that's the challenge, too, because, and this is especially coming from Miles, who points out the blatantly obvious. He's so astute when it comes to these things. He said that a GPU is an FPGA for all intents and purposes. You can really program that thing to do whatever you want. So what he's looking at are what you can get out of a GPU and what potential limitations would be in some of these mainstream FPGA miners out there, so that we can really rule out any of that possibility for the future and favor our base of straight up GPU miners.
Well, that's definitely exciting. You know, with the implementation of a node system, you know, a lot of proof of work master node, you know, POS projects, they tend to implement a new, consensus method and tend to focus on that a little bit more. So it's really exciting to see, in March, February, you have the master implementation, and then, you're sitting here in April and you're going to get a proof of work kind of algorithm upgrade to the point to keep you protected from attacks and things like that. So, man, it's really exciting to see the progress that, once again, that Zelle is making and taking care of the proof of workers out there.
Absolutely, and we've been thinking about it for a long time now. It's always been on the roadmap in the back of at least the developers' minds, right, that they were aware of the possibility of 51% attack. That's why they created the community pool and then spread the hash. That was a big campaign a couple months ago, and once that was accomplished, then the Zelle node network was released. And consequently, right around that time that the Zelle node was released, that's when we saw some random miners come on to the network with very large amounts of hashing power. And fortunately for us, because we were able to spread the hash rate, it was able to be mitigated. And that's kind of the beauty of having a cooperative group of miners on the project. So I really got to hand it to a lot of those people who are supporting Zelle with their miners, because this is just, you're really helping to protect the integrity of the project and the blockchain too. And keep everybody honest. I mean, this really, the whole purpose here is to make sure that this is as fair as possible.
Right. Yeah, and just in the crypto space in general, from around January, February, March, there were a ton of 51% attacks just kind of bouncing from chain to chain. And and just to see the Zelle community so involved with our day-to-day discussions to the point where we can say, hey, let's spread the hash, and you have people doing it. That's pretty exciting, because I've sat in Discords and projects where they're saying spread the hash and it's just not happening. So hats off to the community, and hats off to the team for being aware of everything and pushing this thing forward.
Yeah, they're always monitoring it. I was talking to Miles, like I said the other day, and I had a screenshot of him. He's got this big screen TV above his editing station where he does all of the coding and stuff, and it's got the Zelle dashboard up there. So he's watching what's happening in real time as he's doing the coding. It's so cool. So we're in good hands there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So you were talking to me about some other interesting ideas when it came to mining. This idea of like piggyback mining or merged mining.
Yeah. So, I'm an AMD GPU miner. So, I'm always looking for ways to be profitable. And honestly, it ends up typically being in the hash realm or the kryptonite realm. And so for a long time, which hats off to Goose, because you actually really, really taught me how to mine, in all honesty, man, a couple of years ago, just when I hopped on YouTube. So, one of my most profitable things that I've done is, regardless of if I was trying to accumulate Zelle, it wasn't advantageous for me to mine Zelle directly. I would have to mine something else and just trade for it, right? And so I would kind of approach it with dual mining aspect, and mining some kind of hash coin, Ethereum, and then some kind of Blake 2S or some other coin that's throwing a little bit of hash rate over there. It's taking a little bit away.
Man, you remember those? Those are like the good old days, Ethereum and Decred.
yeah, no doubt. And so you kind of change your settings to just get the perfect mix of a good amount of Ethash and Ethereum and whatever that other one was. Well, something here recently which hasn't really been talked about a lot is it's Kryptonite has allowed for some merge mining opportunities, which essentially is just two of the Kryptonite coins that are on the same variant, whether it's Kryptonite Light, Heavy, Turtle, etc. And you're able to mine both coins at the same hash rate, no extra power draw, nothing, and mine them both. So I thought it was too good to be true, and I actually gave it a shot. So I've been merge mining Loki and Turtle, as Loki has kind of switched to Kryptonite Turtle algorithm, and It's actually been pretty profitable in terms of what I've been mining, or what's typically shown as most profitable for me. So it's a kind of an interesting thing. I'm curious of some of the ramifications here when people start learning more about it. If it's going to shoot the hash rate through the roof and difficulty through the roof, and all of a sudden not make it as profitable. But anyways, that's what I've been up to, man.
Especially with AMD, because those Kryptonite algorithms are so powerful. I have an RX 480 that I have just sitting in a server of mine, and it's sitting in a VM. I did a video on how to pass through a graphics card to a VM in a server. So if anybody wants to, but anyway, I did it kind of for my own. Honestly, I did it for myself because I want to be able to like reference back to my own video and learn how to, because I've already forgotten how to do it. So now I go back to those videos and I'm like, oh, that's how I did it. And so the 480 is hashing close to like, I would say 900 hashes per second. So I'm getting almost a mega hash on Kryptonite. And that's on Kryptonite Saber, which is the BitTube variant. And that's pretty much all I've ever really mined with. I do profit mine with that. Like I look at what's coming in and stuff like that. And the 480 actually does pretty well with Zell, surprisingly well right now, at least on this current variant.
How about
it's not as good as a comparably priced NVIDIA graphics card. So compared to like a 1063 gig right now, the 1060 would still do way better. So I tend to just with my AMD cards look at those Kryptonite algos and all those different coins. Like the idea of merged mining, getting the same number of coins from both chains, that's kind of a no-brainer. Like I don't see why everybody doesn't do that. If you're running AMD, you need to give some new life into some of those AMD rigs anyway.
Yeah, we sure do. Tell me about it, man. Well, yeah, so it's been exciting, kind of exploring that, man. And so I've definitely been doing that, and a lot of those Kryptonite variants, they kind of sit on the Trade Ogre exchange. So it's been pretty cool to be able to send that over and swap it out for some Zell, and work on my next node and all that kind of stuff. So that's been my little side project, man. Is just figuring out ways to try to squeeze as much juice as I can out these old AMD 580s.
Absolutely, and that's what you got to do. So I got the 480, you got the 580s, and I think you're getting like 10 or 15% better hash rates with those cards, and they're so energy efficient though. That's what I really like about them. I think maybe 100 watts, if that, for each card, maybe less on Kryptonite. Like they're really, really good that way. So.
Yeah, it's real smooth on Kryptonite, man.
Nice.
No doubt. So,
well, one last thing I might as well mention about Zell is that we're going to be working on Zell ID a little bit more. And that's going to allow us to incorporate password management into Zell in a special way. So imagine, some type of keybase where you could store all of your passwords in one place. So maybe you put your Twitter account, your YouTube account, any different logins for different, and it's all attached to your Zell ID, so that when you go to log into your email account, as long as you're logged into your Zell ID, boom, it automatically fills everything in for you, that kind of a thing. So this is certainly way down the road, but it's coming. That's kind of like that's where the talks are headed, that the Zell ID is going to get some love, because right now all it does is like, you've got the fingerprint scanner, or you have the PIN key that you put in to access your crypto or to sell your crypto. So that's really good. That's great. It's two-factor, but most apps have a two-factor thing now, even if it's just a text message. So this takes it to the next level. Imagine storing all your passwords blockchain style.
Yeah. Well, that's very Zell-like for such a good upgrade. The decentralized 2FA has been great thus far, but like you said, never hurts to take it to the next level and continue to make things more convenient.
Absolutely, man. I love using password managers myself, I'm a big fan of open source variants, so I'm not going to sit here and name drop all of the famous ones that all the other YouTubers are shilling left and right. You go on Linus Tech Tips and he's like shilling some password manager.
Right.
I like the open source stuff, and this is one that's even better because it's blockchain. It takes whatever you put into it, it encrypts it. It adds a hash on the blockchain, which is there permanently, and allows you access to all of your logins in a very neat, easy way. And yes, it'll still ask you, I would imagine it'll still ask you for your PIN number too. So it'll be like, okay, you want to fill in your Google account, for instance. You want to fill in your Google account. All right, put your PIN in, and then it does the rest. Right. So there's still, it's kind of like when you log into Windows, you know, sometimes you can set it up to put in a PIN or a password. So if you put in a PIN, just, you know, your digits are, and that's it, you're good to go. So I really like that. I use that feature myself. I just think it's easy.
I love it, man. Secured by Zelle.
That's right. One wallet to secure them all, and your emails and your Twitters and your Facebooks and all your logins.
Yeah. I love it, man.
It's coming. It's all coming. Good. Yeah. So I think we've covered a lot in this first episode of the core. So I hope that people are enjoying it, and we're going to keep it going. So until next time.
And there you have it. The first episode of the core, powered by Zelle. See you guys next time.